I've
right?
seen boobies on daytime TV in Finland, so
Oh,
yeah, even the government-run channel.
welcome, Fedi Friends, to episode 61 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozoned. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. If you're hearing this, you are the Fediverse. Before we start, as much as I as much as most of us don't like tooting our own horn, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. That's how things grow organically on the Fediverse. When you like it, share, like, talk to others about it, help us grow organically. So, I mean, I'm going to keep doing this, but for other people to find us. But anyway, my guest today is Samsai. Samsai and I have been acquaintances, I want to say like 10 years. Well, no, it had to be gaming. When
Uh,
did gaming on Linux start?
so gaming on Linux by itself is like really old, and it predates my participation in it for like by quite a few years.
Okay.
I think I probably step into the picture somewhere around maybe 2014, 15 or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about when I found it. So we've known each other casually, as I was talking to you about earlier, for about 10 years, man. How old are
Mhm.
we? Whew.
Too
But,
old.
right? Samsai is a Finnish Linux user, tech enthusiast of the kind that doesn't own a printer, which I love that, has a master's degree in computer science and works in a big telecommunications company. And as well, Samsai was an editor on Gaming on Linux, and
I
he
still have
often,
I still have the title technically, but yeah, it is a bit of a stolen valor type of thing in the sense that I haven't written an article in quite a while. Maybe I will correct that at some point, but yeah, I still do
no, it's
moderation.
still holds up. Still
Yeah,
holds up.
it's still
I could
valid.
I could still go out and find your articles, so it still works, right? Like you're still,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they do exist in there, and like I
yeah.
said, I do still do moderation policy stuff, mostly moderating the Discord.
Okay.
And we do have like one-on-one chats between Liam and myself on sort of relevant topics that come up sometimes. If he needs assistance on some topic, then I obviously lend my assistance. But yeah, it's just that my name doesn't show up on the page nearly as often
Yeah.
as it maybe should for an editor of the site. Yeah.
No, but you do it once, you get to call yourself that, especially if you get paid for it. Then you're a professional. But
Well, I was paid in games, so it's
that, dude, that's the way to go. I mean, will it feed you food? No, but when you're immersed in a game, who cares about food?
true.
You know.
Absolutely.
And Samsai now streams on Owncast as well. It's really interesting because we both streamed on Twitch at one point, right? I think you streamed on Twitch.
Yeah, and
Eh,
I was running the Gaming on Linux Twitch
That's
channel as
right.
well for a time.
Which,
And
yeah, I was a Linux game Twitch nerd as well. And again, we crossed more paths there. And then I stopped and kind of moved away from Twitch a bit. And then I saw when I started looking at Owncast, you were already there on Owncast. So our interests are very similar in those regards. I am
I'm sure
not
that
finished though.
well, you could be. We can train you.
No one's perfect, I guess, except for Samsai.
Well, I try to be.
Well, so before we get into all the gaming on Linux stuff and the stream and whatnot, again, thank you, Samsai, for joining me. I really appreciate it. Really excited to get to talk directly to you because so often it's one typing in the chat and then the other one just talking back. Like it's not an actual conversation. Um, but also we get to see you in all your glory even though you're shown on the Gaming on Linux website as well.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get started, how would you like to be addressed?
Yeah, you can obviously call me Samsai, preferred pronouns he, him. I am somewhat of a gender abolitionist in the sense that I believe the English gendered pronouns are an old-fashioned concept. We don't have that in Finnish, but I'll
Really?
take he, him as a convention.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So you don't have any gendered
no,
words?
no, no
Interesting.
gendered words, no articles, no gendered pronouns.
Oh, wow. That blows my mind. Well, I mean, I've never been able to really handle languages. I've tried so many times, but like most in America, I was not exposed to any kind of other foreign language until I was like 16.
Yeah, well, slightly different case for us in small European countries where, I've had to take English as a second language from like third grade,
Oh my
then
gosh.
picked up Swedish in sort of secondary school, and I did practice a little bit of Klingon as well. So I have a slight amount
Yeah.
of skill in Klingon as well. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where you kind of have to do that in order to live among the wider world as a member of a smaller country like that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. How many languages do you know?
So obviously native tongue, so Finnish, English, a little bit of Swedish. I wouldn't say that I'm very proficient anymore. I studied German, although once again, one of those cases I'm not super well versed,
Oh my gosh.
and Klingon, yeah.
And
And of course, like
Klingon.
and 1,000 programming languages, but that's like you don't really communicate that way.
So how would you say welcome to Fireside Fedi in Finnish, German, Swedish,
I, I, I
Klingon?
I can do the Finnish version. Let's
Okay.
leave the Swedish and German versions for your future guests so that they can.
Okay, yeah. Well, what about Klingon? I don't know if I'll ever have a Klingon on. Can we do that one?
I think the problem is that nobody welcomes anybody in Klingon because they're not that polite.
Yeah. How about die a glorious death? Here's Fireside Fedi.
That sounds like more along the sides of what you might
Right?
expect from Klingon. Yeah.
So, okay, so can you give me some Finnish?
Oh, absolutely. Tervetuloa Fireside Fediin.
And
There we
wow,
go.
it seems very succinct, very
Yes,
direct.
very direct.
Wow, that sounds so much nicer. But uh, so how did you get to where you're at today? Editor of Gaming on Linux.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I guess all of it starts really when I started using Linux in 2010. My first Linux distro that I actually properly managed myself was Ubuntu 10.04. And I started doing
Okay.
a little bit of gaming on there. At that time, you're talking
Oh,
about like playing Sauerbraten and a bunch of like open source games like that, and some stuff in Wine. And then I started like pretty early on when I found a screen recorder. I was like, I've been watching these YouTubers. What if I did a little bit of that YouTube thing myself and
oh
like
my
showed
God, no way.
Linux gaming? And then I created a Finnish-speaking Linux gaming channel, mostly playing Minecraft at the time.
Huh.
Yeah, I did that for quite a few years. Achieved like maybe 1,200 subscribers or something
In Finnish.
in Finnish.
Oh wow.
Um, then Liam started working on, like I had read a bunch of gaming on Linux articles at that time already, and Liam, I joined the IRC channel at some point, and Liam was working on like some videos that he wanted to make because he also wanted to do like more video content, and he was
Yeah.
having so much trouble doing video stuff, like getting the screen recordings and all of that working. So I was like, what if I do those for you? And 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 then I ended up doing a whole bunch of like first impressions videos in English for gaming on Linux.
No, and it's funny to even think about that because I remember being on Twitch before it was Twitch. It was Justin.tv 2010, 2011. And I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could stream this. And then OBS came out a couple years later and it was like, yeah, but it does not work on Linux. Don't even bother trying. Wine's not going to work with it, yada, yada. And I was like, oh, wah, wah.
Well,
So,
do you want another extra funny story?
I want all the funny stories. Like, how did you even get to looking into Linux, for instance?
Well, that's actually another funny story. That was actually my dad introducing me to it. It was, and one of the funny reasons also there is that I really wanted to switch to Linux because I saw that my dad had been messing around with Python, and I thought it was a Linux exclusive thing. Because
Okay,
I had only used like Visual Basic and Pascal.
The lesson that I'm taking away here, and this is to everyone that wants to help advocate for Linux: one, show people something really cool, and then two, lie to them and say it only runs on Linux.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, we also at that time there were all of those fancy desktop cubes and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah! Oh my
that really
God!
Drew me in.
Wobbly windows.
Yeah, but going back to streaming,
yeah.
I don't know. This little thing wasn't super popular, but I technically wrote one of the early live streaming applications for Linux. Around when so there was this project called Cast Awesome that I created in like Python. It basically just wrapped FFmpeg.
Okay.
But it allowed you to basically do basic streaming to like Twitch and that kind of stuff. Because I started like from that Finnish YouTube channel. At one point, I started also wanting to do live streams. So obviously there were no tools for that at the time. This was like slightly before Simple Screen Recorder became popular.
Okay, I know that one.
Yeah. So then for a brief time I maintained this project called Cast Awesome, and it did a bunch of live streams with that. It was a horrendous piece of garbage. It kept audio desyncing constantly. I had no idea how to fix it. So eventually I just migrated off of it to Simple Screen Recorder because it was so much more stable. But technically there is another fun anecdote associated with this. There is this platform that I think was doing some relatively not safe for work stuff. Like they allowed that kind of like artsy stuff.
Okay.
And they contacted me if I could add support for that platform into my project.
Wow.
I think I technically did. I never tested it, but
and they never got back to you. So
I think it was on their documentation site for that website. They documented that if you want to do Linux live streaming, here's how you do it with this tool.
And see, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about open source is even when you're done with it, someone can take it. Like for all you know, it's powering some artsy web stream out there and has been for years or something.
I just hope that anybody that used it for that purpose has realized that they could just migrate to OBS and have a significantly better time.
No, it's like Linux. You lied to them. This is the only software out there for this purpose.
At that point, I think the risk there is that they might like decide not to use Linux because if this is the best it can do, maybe it's not that good.
No, but I mean, that's even thinking, even before I knew what open source software was, I was an advocate for it because in high school, something not totally similar, but unsimilar is I think it was a pre-calc class. And for the final, I asked the teacher, hey, can I program all the stuff into my calculator? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. You still have to show all the work. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I literally took a weekend, an entire weekend, like That's all I did was program my calculator that I put in. Like I pick the option from a menu. I put in what I want, what algorithm to use, etc. And it will walk me through writing down the step because he didn't know it could do something like that. And I get to class, and of course everyone's like, "Are you nervous about the test?" And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, you're smart." And I was like, doesn't have to do anything with that. I actually don't do well in math, but I told them like, "No, I have a program." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I made it. I just made it." And they're like, "Can I have it?" I was like, "Sure." So I handed it out to everyone with the understanding that I am not guaranteeing any of this. And if there's a bug, that's not up. And they're like, yeah. And sure enough, during the test, I found a massive bug for one of the things, but I caught it. But I had heard from a friend's brother. He's like, he was 3 years younger than us. And he's like, "Did you write this program?" And I was like, "Yeah, like 3 years ago." And he's like, "Oh, it's still floating around school. Everyone gives it out." And I'm like,
damn.
that just feels weird. It feels wrong. Like there's better stuff out there, guys.
Well, it's people like you that forced us to always delete all of the stuff on our calculators. Like they always just check if you have like deleted everything. So
one of my buddies that went to another school that was literally the same age as me in a complete vacuum. This was before we knew each other. He did the same thing. And when he was done, the school put in a policy of you have to erase the entire calculator before you take any test. And you have to show it. I'm like, wow, we really, you're welcome, younger generation.
Yeah. To be fair, like luckily the calculator was like annoying enough for me to program, so I never bothered to put,
Yeah.
It had like a thing that allowed you to connect it to a PC, but it required Windows. And at that time, I was already on Linux. So I didn't bother to do any of that.
I wasn't on Linux, but I couldn't afford the extra add-on cable and stuff to be able to do. So I literally had to type it all in by hand. It was, that's why it blows me away when you see people that have like Doom on there. I know they didn't program it by hand, but still, like those things are, and they're still out there. Anyway, man, did I go on a tangent. So you're on Linux, you're doing YouTube videos, you're writing the first streaming software in a somewhat usable manner. You're almost done. Keep going.
Yeah, so from there, I basically dumped the... from there, I basically dumped the Finnish side of YouTubing. That was mainly because I got tired of I built it too heavily around Minecraft, and you carry that burden over the years. If you try to pivot to anything, everybody's gonna just always want the same thing. That's why every time someone has asked me advice for doing anything related to streaming or YouTube, I say go variety first, so that your audience doesn't know what to expect, and you can do whatever.
And sorry, I wasn't like just saying, okay, yeah, go ahead. No, my son was here talking to me. So sorry, I hope that did come up.
I literally thought you were prompting me to go forward.
Just go. What do you waiting for?
Just go.
Just go.
Slightly harsh, okay.
It just makes me think of Spaceballs. What are you preparing? You're always preparing. Just go. Sorry. So, yeah, okay. Now my brain is all thrown for a loop. I can't remember where we were at. I had to get that out, though, because I did not want to act like I'm just ordering you to go. So, what were we? Twitch, right? Oh, Twitch, variety versus... Yeah, no. And it's interesting that you say that, because even today I see people having that conversation of, well, he's this kind of streamer. And if you did that, again, like what, 10 years ago, you were ahead of that curve. Like you were right on front of this streaming thing that was going to explode. But not only that, you had the insight already that how you want to go. Like, I've seen so many people on Twitch or even YouTube. It's like, yeah, I always stream this because if I stream anything else, I can't make money doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to decide, well, is that your job? Which it's fine, it is, but you know, because there is consumers there, but you had this insight because you had already learned it from YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much. And to be fair, like at that point, I also gave up on the idea of doing this as a job because I kind of burnt out on it. So at that point I figured, okay, I'm gonna just downgrade it to something fun that I would be doing.
Yeah.
And at some point, I also kind of stopped doing the gaming on Linux stuff because those were done like on a weekly basis, weekly review of a new game, and then
on Linux.
Yeah, on Linux, and first impressions video for it and all of that stuff. Like, at that time, I was still in school, so it was like possible to bang those out. But when I started going into university, I was like, no way, no, I can't do this. Like, I can't maintain this pace anymore.
Sorry, my son just walked out the door. No, I couldn't even get games running within a week. Like,
well, this is still like we're talking about early Steam era, so like things were working pretty well back then, all things considered. I don't think I remember much.
How long?
Like having much trouble getting all of that stuff.
Even early Steam wine stuff was for. You're way smarter than me.
I didn't do wine stuff. It was native games.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that also goes into the like whole no tux, no bugs things that I had for a long time. Yeah.
Now you're actually taking me back because I remember where I would. Okay. So and this is amazing because your audience with that would be insanely small. Linux, insanely small. Finnish, as you said, like you learn English. Like I'm assuming a vast majority of content online is English, not Finnish at least. You know, and then you also set yourself the task of only Linux native games at that time, which, that your pool was pretty small.
Yeah, to be fair, like the Linux gaming, like the Finnish stuff, like at that point it was targeted more as generic gaming, but also it just happens to be on Linux. So I wasn't super like pushing it as just this is Linux gaming. No, I was doing like playthrough content. So I was like, literally, I would pick a game, I would play through. It just happens to be on Linux, and sometimes I would talk about Linux a little bit, but people were following it for the gaming content. So it wasn't really like super niche oriented that way.
But the no tux, no bucks. Oh my God. I'm so happy I've not had to think about that. And when did Proton come out in DXVK? 2018, 2019?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then since then, I'm just like,
no. Yeah. I was pushing for that native ideology for quite a long time. It was only in the past like 2 years that I've like actually started using Proton like in any significant capacity.
Oh, even then. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So they wore you down.
They wore me down. Eventually, like I realized that this pushing this thing doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So I'm just going to like relax the rules a little bit for myself. And nowadays, like we have bigger problems to cover, things like the, big tech takeover of our systems. It's better if people have, the liberation of being able to use platforms that they own and operate, systems that they own and operate, and if they play some Windows game at the end of it, it doesn't really matter that much.
And I shouldn't be surprised that you're saying this, right? Because like pretty much every guest I've had on has said something similar, right? Like they became aware of the big tech stuff when Elon bought everything. And now some people are looking for alternatives, but those that are here really were aware of that. And kind of, you put your, I don't want to say more petty, but you put your easier to put down crises to worry about something that's bigger. You only have so much energy. It's like System D stuff. Like I haven't heard anyone screaming, yelling how awful it is in years, but we've moved on from that. And as I've said to others, though, I think Linux is a success. It's going to continue to be a success. And that needs to be a very closely looked at business model for something like the Fediverse. Because as important as I think Linux is, our communal communications shouldn't be handled by one specific billionaire or another specific billionaire.
Oh, absolutely. And, that's why Owncast is such an important thing, because like the reason why I migrated off of Twitch was because Twitch started pushing ads for everybody. And this is, technically I was getting paid for that stuff. I had Twitch partner, or not partner, the Twitch affiliate. So the lower tier. I think I got like a whopping $150 out of doing Twitch during the entire time I was doing Twitch. But theoretically, I was getting paid for it. But because there were at this time like more strict guidelines for what you could show on stream that were coming out, strict guidelines on like what audio can play, and you had to run an ad break every 20 minutes or something. That's when I was like, okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. What if I just run this whole thing myself? And Owncast happened to be like a really, really easy solution to set up for that purpose.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, it was the setup for those that don't know that are interested in running your own. It's literally one line.
Yeah.
And it goes out and it takes care of itself. Yes, I have that shirt. Oh, I should have worn that. I have the same shirt. It's an Owncast shirt. Gabe did such an amazing job making the barrier to entry so low that it's really, as long as you know what a server is, as long as you know how to run the script, like you could probably do it. It's amazing. And I was kind of the same way, where it's like, if people want to be a part of that ecosystem, great. I don't think it's worth my time anymore. Actually, when I stopped streaming on Twitch is when I found out I was having a kid. Like that really killed any of my streaming. But coming back, I'm like, I don't want to take part in that. I've talked about putting this stream on Twitch, which I've had some issues with. I have to look at it again, but no ad revenue. But now I think they force ads. Like you can't even just turn them off.
Everybody gets ads except the
Turbo,
the subscribers. Yeah.
Let's do an advertising pause so Ozone could change. Yeah, let me go get new clothes. This episode brought to you by Samsai. Go, Samsai. How amazing would that be someday, though? I would totally do that. But Twitch anymore, if you're serious about being on Twitch, and I highly recommend you take a long thought, because it takes a lot more time and energy than just streaming games. Same thing with YouTube. Do it because you enjoy it, by all means, but know that it actually is a job that is, I look at it as a gamble, honestly. You can put it in every waking moment and it's still a gamble. And the problem is, like you just said, you made like $100 on it. It's a gamble that kind of pays out a little bit every once in a while. That kind of keeps you more going.
Yeah. But I mean, for myself, it was like, I mean, I knew that the affiliate was never going to make much money. I mainly wanted it so that I could throw in a couple of like emotes into the chat, and basically to leech off of a couple people's Amazon Prime. Because I knew a couple of people who had Amazon Prime and were not going to use it for anything else. So I was like, okay, well, you can throw that money towards me. But
I never even see. I actually had Amazon Prime. We do not anymore, thank God. But so I had a Prime account. And yeah, I would always give it to the same streamer, but I was always on his channel. Which is one of the things, like you were talking about variety versus normal. Like it is standard lingo now. Oh, do you always play this game? No, I'm a variety streamer. Like And different classifications have come down too, because there are real life streamers, right? IRL streamers.
Mm-hmm. And VTubers and, you know,
Here's
future is now old, man.
here's the thing that amazes folks. Again, I was in the before times of Twitch was Twitch. It was Justin.tv. It was this. It was literally this kind of tiny community, except one guy hosted all of it. And it could be anything. And that one guy was able to turn it into, or well, started a business with it he was doing a business with it. And I think Amazon bought them out or they sold them out. I don't remember. But if he could do it back then, we don't need to be huge Twitch. We could still have our communities here. And Twitch has come back to that original vision because they were Justin TV, pretty much anything, to now we are Twitch. It is only games. And now they're back to IRL and all this other stuff.
It's basically whatever people end up wanting to do. Like during the Justin times, I caught just the like tail end of it.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of people who wanted to do gaming on Justin, but it was kind of like frowned upon or something like that. And that's when kind of like didn't they have like a brief period when they both existed at the same time, and then Twitch kind of took the gaming side.
Oh, maybe. I don't even. Yeah. Yes. No, I think you're right. Because they saw. Oh, wow. Yeah, so I watched games on Justin. I didn't know they were frowned upon.
I think I've had a couple of friends who tried to do that, and I think for some of them they had like some trouble with it, but I don't know, maybe it was because of other things.
And then that's right. They spun out the gaming to Twitch. Is that why they didn't allow other content? They were trying to push it to Justin TV?
I don't know. Like realistically, I didn't use the platform at that time. But this is kind of like the impressions and the kind of like impressions that I heard from people who were still like playing around with that stuff and so on.
Okay.
Yeah. But in the end, it all converges on Owncast. All of the cool guys go to Owncast because they can run their own streams the way they want without the advertising and all of that stuff taking focus away from the content.
Very cool. I think that's probably the best word. Yeah. Who isn't cool
we're
here?
Cool. Yeah, we're cool.
I think you're cool.
Yeah, you're cool.
Thank you. Take that, Twitch. They're shaking in their boots. No.
They have this like huge tanker, and we're rocking up to it with a dinghy.
Wait, you give us a dinghy? Woohoo! That's more than I thought. No, but it is, and I've told this to people before when I've said, like, I'm an Owncast streamer. Why not on Twitch? Like, because it's my channel. I could do what I want. And they're like, oh, you must be doing some bad stuff to want to not be on Twitch. Like, no, fuck you. I just want it to be mine. I don't want to rent an apartment. I want to own a house.
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine if you want to rent. But know that you're not signing an agreement that's going to help you as a renter.
Yeah, exactly. And for myself, it was literally just, I don't want to watch ads on Twitch. Why should I force my viewers to watch ads on Twitch? And also I had like, at that time, like, I think they're less strict about content now. They had a brief period when everything was being like super tightly monitored and moderated. And at that time I was thinking sometimes like, okay, do I need to worry about some song that plays on a part of the Twitch stream or something like that? And now it's like, I can boot up whatever game I want. And the only thing I need to worry about is I need to be nice enough that if I'm doing something that is like really mature, I tick the box that says it's like super mature, so it doesn't get pushed out to people's.
I mean, that's just common courtesy.
Yeah, exactly.
I some of the streamers that I've seen, they just automatically mark theirs as not safe for work, even though I wouldn't call it, which begs the question, where do we define that line? There are some cultures where, nudity is fully acceptable.
Mm-hmm. I've
Right?
seen movies on daytime TV in Finland, so
Oh,
yeah, even the government-run channels.
you said the B word.
Yeah.
That's the far, I love those differences in culture though. I need to come to Finland, watch lots of TV because I've never seen them before. But what do you think happens if and when we ever get to a significant size for, and I've been thinking a lot about this. I don't know how this works, where we become a significant size where these same actors that are forcing you to turn off music in game now notice that anyone can run their own platform. Do you think they give up the fight? Do you think they start going after? It's a lot more steps to find
Mm-hmm.
me and you than it is to find one company that houses all of us. It's a lot more steps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, realistically, I don't know if we will ever grow to that size where we will be big enough fish for companies to really care. And
So,
like
so
if it ever happened, I'm sure that the companies would basically go like, okay, we need to figure out a way to regulate this, and they would probably go to governments to implement some kind of a thing because they don't want to go to individuals.
so you think we're more like Usenet, which
I think we will be successful in our niche, but I don't necessarily expect to ever be competing with Amazon in terms of like Twitch and that kind of stuff. If it ever happens, I would love to see it happen. But I think we're
so
kind of going to be the alternative scene of video streaming and so on.
I'm fine. That's where the cool kids are anyway. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Again. But do you think it's because you, so at what level do you see success, not success? Because Owncast, while it connects into the Fediverse, like it sits kind of on the outside, right? So in theory, if there is ever some kind of interop laws passed that force these companies to start sharing, people could then watch, their Twitch stream from their Mastodon if they want. Are you saying that level works and it's just self-hosting a Twitch, or?
I mean,
Because I don't know either.
yeah, I mean, I guess from the interop perspective, I'm not sure if we are necessarily ever going to really want to push the interop that far where people on Mastodon are looking at the Owncast streams and so on. But like what I'm thinking in terms of, are we going to hit the mainstream so that people go to Fediverse to watch live streams instead of Twitch? That I'm not 100% sure about. I love to be a little bit more pessimistic about these things. But
I guess another question too is, though, one way we look at this is we look at this as advocates of free software, Linux guys, gamers. We look at it specifically through that lens. Whereas like when I've talked to Gabe before, he's been pretty adamant, like a significant portion of people running Owncast are those that want to share very personal events, church, funeral, I've heard of before, like that kind of a thing. So because that stuff is not allowed on Twitch, right? So that makes me think that, and again, you don't need as long as I can run this, I'm happy. I don't need a line share of anything, but that's another choice for those that don't go with that platform has an option.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the option is vital. I mean,
yeah,
I see that what we're doing here, making and using and sharing these platforms is extremely valuable. Like, don't get me wrong on that. I don't want to go back to Twitch, but if we face the reality in the sense that who the average user of like live streaming services is. Are they really going to go and look at like Owncast exclusively over Twitch
Yeah.
and stuff like that? I don't expect that to happen. What I think is going to happen is we're going to kind of form these federated islands. We're going to share our own stuff. We're going to have fun with it. I don't think it's never going to, at least for myself, I don't expect it to ever strike a profit. And I don't
Oh
want
yeah.
it to
No.
necessarily strike a profit. I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah.
happy with the idea that I have a day job, and then with the rest of my time, I can choose to do whatever I want and share that with whoever I want.
That's, I mean, yeah. I
But yeah, I mean, I guess like if we were to like really strike the mainstream, we would need to somehow figure out how do you monetize your Fediverse activities. And I mean, sure, you can.
right.
There are ways that
That's
you can do that, but like realistically, are you gonna be able to do that with an Owncast server?
not
If
yet.
you
I
need
mean, not at the
donations
moment,
and
but
that kind of stuff, maybe. But otherwise,
there's a lot of people working on that big question. Like one suggestion, excuse me, one suggestion is like GNU Taller.
mhm.
We're not there yet, though. Maybe more pieces need to come into the puzzle. But the great thing is we have the pieces. We have some of the pieces, right, that can allow this thing to happen. And every day we're getting more pieces.
Yeah, I mean, then it just becomes a question of like, do you have a way to drive discoverability so that you get this mass of users who are able to like pitch in and contribute to your stuff? Like all things considered, like I run an Owncast server with an average viewer count of like 10-ish people. It's like
Yeah.
that's why I was like kind of joking. Like I'm here following up, 100
No,
rabbits with my majority of my Fediverse activities being an Owncast server where I play games, sometimes poorly, sometimes well, to about 10 to 15 people.
but that's kind of like everyone is, told me like, oh, if you keep it this trajectory, you'll have 2 million people watching you by, 5 years from now. And I was like, no, I don't want, like, I liked the 10. I liked it being me. And there's a lot of stuff on Owncast I don't want to watch, right? But this gives you the opportunity again to have it how you want. Which I don't expect to make money. I don't. Yes, I actually, it all goes to the nonprofit that I started that I don't expect to ever make money. BT free. So if you do enjoy the show, actually go donate there. We're working our 501c3. Man, I feel like a massive hypocrite, right?
No. It's perfectly fine. Like I have no problem with
It's
people monetizing this. If you manage it,
yeah.
I'm cheering for you. I just don't see it happening for myself.
I Yeah, and this is literally one of the ways that I've thought about making money for BT free. Even if I like went back on Twitch, this is the money into that. And I feel that that is more important than also having to put up with Twitch. Right? Spreading the word too. I'm sure you've gotten this if you've ever talked to people about YouTube or PeerTube or Owncast, which is there's no content. That's one of the reasons that I started this too, was I had a choice and there's no content. So am I great content? No, but it's something, right? It'll resonate with someone, or it'll at least hopefully give someone an idea that you could do it.
Yeah, and
So
I mean, it's also kind of that like idea that you can make content without the monetary incentive. I mean,
yes,
I never made a cent out of any of the stuff that I did for YouTube. I put in thousands of hours into all of that stuff. I had a lot of fun, and I never did that with the intent that, oh, this is gonna be like the big gold mine one day. And I think like PeerTube and all of this stuff, I feel like it can totally support that activity where you are forming these like small, like
yeah.
arguably smaller communities, but maybe they're more tightly knit communities, and you're
Mhm.
like sharing what you genuinely like to do instead of
No, in this,
farming money
this
out of a money machine.
Samsai, you're talking crazy talk right now because, again, that was at the early days of each of these things, right? It was a heartfelt, passionate community. Yeah, and the idea, like, people just did this for fun and stupid, and then some people are like, oh, we can make money doing this, cool. And then other people are like, well, I'm going to do it because I can make money.
Mm-hmm.
There
I
is
get it. There's another side to it too, which is like you enjoy doing this, you want to do more of this, but you need to make money in order to do it full time. And that I fully understand. And like I don't want to come across as saying that people who make money off of online content are like shallow or they are only farming money out of it. No,
yeah.
by no means. But what I'm saying is
It
it is okay to have hobbies.
Yep.
Not all of your hobbies need to be side hustles.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's okay to not be making money, right? Like I've heard that too. Like that, I mean, I guess maybe for some folks it does, but that's an excellent point. He's a smart guy. I'm glad I had him on.
Also, I literally am like legally not allowed to have a tip jar or any kind of a donation link. So therefore, I'm also like justifying this to myself. Like, I don't need the money because I have no way to collect any money at the moment legally.
Interesting. Have you thought about starting a nonprofit organization and funneling the money
really
back
hard.
into the Fediverse?
Yeah, like seriously, like
it's hard there.
I would have to get I would need to contact the police to get a money collection license and all of that. It's really ridiculous in Finland in terms of actually being able to finance this kind of stuff with donations.
See, it's funny because I feel like that should be the default. Here, it was I filled out one sheet. Like I filled out a piece of paper and they're like, yeah, you seem you seem like you're trustworthy enough from the way that you wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, okay. The 501c3, the tax deductible status that I'm working on, that does take a lot. So maybe it's a nonprofit is really not valuable much without that. I don't know, but can make a link to a page. Yeah, no, I'm supposed to be advertising this and I'm not. And I feel, and Eddie, I need to talk to whatever you just said, because you said about advertising. I don't know. But I had seen very early on, there is a very important question before we go on to the quiz that I have to ask you, because you're from Finland, right?
Yep.
How often do you have lunch with Linus Torvalds?
Well, you know that he lives in the US, right?
I didn't. I didn't know that.
But that master's degree that you mentioned at the beginning of the stream, that comes from the same university where Torvalds actually studied as well.
So we got Linus Torvalds and we got the world's greatest Owncast game streamer.
Yeah, and I'm really putting that computer science master's degree to a good use.
Well, now for the real reason I asked Samsai here is to give him the opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. Our prize today, I'm sorry.
Excited, super excited.
Yeah, because it's a totally real prize, right? Why wouldn't you be excited?
Yep.
Our prize today is a lifetime supply of moss so you can maintain a healthy habit, as you so beautifully put and pinned. We thought about moss. Getting... Do you like moss?
Moss is fantastic.
You have to tell me about moss sometime, but...
Will do.
We thought about giving you a different prize of every single game on Steam, but you and I both know it's more fun to buy them and never play them than to just be given them to never play. Are you ready for the quiz, Samsai?
Yes, absolutely.
And my windows are messed up, so it's going to be a bit wonky. But favorite movie and why is it Spaceballs?
Well, I mean, it is a very silly and fun movie for sure. The comedic sort of punches that it throws at you at a constant nice pace. You just gotta love it. It's also very quotable.
It is. What's your real favorite movie? I'm assuming it's not Spaceballs, but
No, honestly, Spaceballs is up there. I mean,
is
I've
it?
also like we've also many times talked about Airplane. I mean, Airplane is also a
Yes.
movie that I could like watch over and over again. If
Yep.
you had also like if you had asked favorite TV series, I would say Battlestar Galactica. That is
Never
much
seen
better
it.
than Spaceballs even. Um,
That's what
you,
I
you just
hear about
can't.
it. I've never seen it.
The new one specifically, I
Yeah, I
recommend it
started
absolutely.
watching the new one, and not to spoil it for anyone, I think it's 10, 15, 20 years old. I don't remember.
It's pretty old at this point too, but like it's the best sci-fi TV series that I have
But
ever watched.
at least the first 2 or 3 episodes I watched, every single episode was guess the Cylon.
Well, some of it is that, but not all that many episodes. Like it also like changes a little bit over the
This
course
is
of the series, but
this is one of the problems though with something like this. That's why I don't watch anime anymore. Because everyone's like, yeah, you have to get through the first 6 or 12 or 24 episodes and then it gets really good.
no. It has, in
No,
my
I've heard
opinion,
that
like
about
it just
a
grips you right from the get-go. Like the pilot, the first episode, like it just goes. It doesn't wait for you. And like that start, like it's basically the reverse of DS9, where DS9 takes a long time to get started and then it gets really good.
Oh, okay. Maybe
DS is really good from the start and then it kind of like tapers off a little bit towards the end.
maybe I'm just too old for it.
Mm.
Like, and no, Lonely Ghost, that's fair. Star Trek is guess the red shirt that dies. I am going back and watching every single original series episode, and it's amazing how many I've forgotten. And it's amazing how there's such a good reason that I forgot them.
Yeah, I'm on. I have like 3 episodes left of TOS, and
Yeah.
so many of those episodes are basically Kirk wants to have sex with a thing. This creates conflict between two entities,
There's
and then they have to fight over it. And then like this whole problem could have just been avoided if you had just moved on.
no, and it's amazing because it makes me realize though that like in the Star Treks today, they use crazy lingo to explain all this stuff in ways that were like, oh my God, that sounds so real. That back then, like they could just change the rules whatever they want. Everyone's like, this is amazing.
Mhm. Well, to be fair, like it's a product of its
It
time.
is a
For its
hundred
time,
percent.
yeah, but obviously
Yes.
TNG is better. Picard over Kirk any
Right.
day of the week.
Thank you. That's finally a sensible person here. I've talked to so many people and they're like, TNG is so boring. It has all these more dilemmas. Like, that's literally why it's the most
That's the
interesting
best
thing.
part. Yeah.
If a kid falls in a flower bed, is it okay to sentence him to, like, sorry, my son's here, so I had to pause on that word. What? Yes. Yes. Okay. I have no idea where we were.
That was the discussion on the best movie.
Oh, we got,
slash
yeah, this is
TV
going to take a
series.
while. We're going that. If we're having that much conversation, I'm fine with it, by the way. But okay. Next question.
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
I mean, Friday is the classic. It's the start of the week, and it's also when, if I'm really feeling it, it also has the most variety because the random game segment is on Fridays.
So would you say because you enjoy Friday so much and it has the best genre of game on there, that those are your favorite viewers on Fridays? I never join on Fridays. I'm usually on Saturday or Sunday, Samsai.
It's
That's why I'm here to ask the
I
real
don't
hard-hitting questions.
I don't rate my audience based on when they show up, but that's when you should be tuning in for the best show.
Well, then you should be rating your viewers and be like, this is the best show and you're missing it.
Well, this goes back to, audience expectations. I can't mold myself to audience expectations. The audience needs to come with me. It's my trip. I'm leading you. You follow.
See? He's already gotten the streamer's hubris. He is, in fact, the world's greatest Owncast Linux game streamer. So go watch him, because I'm nowhere near as good as Samsai. Oh, I do. Yours, again, your sense of humor, my sense of humor line up perfectly, though. Mm-hmm. And from what I've been told, my sense of humor is massively dry.
Oh, I mean, I sometimes entertain my audience by telling the worst possible jokes, and then it's like all sighs, but somehow they still tune in after that. So I guess it's like masochism, maybe.
But it's not even that. It's the way that you do it too. Is that it's like so dead serious, but because you're so dead serious, it's how we know that you're not serious. So it's like you've got this inside joke that just keeps riding the waves, and anyone trying to jump in is.
Yeah, I think it's partially because I watch so many like British comedy things, and it's basically that's the format. You say something completely ridiculous in a very dry manner, and then the audience laughs, but the actors don't.
See, it's interesting that you say that. Maybe that's my kind of sense of humor, because I've had British folks that tell me like, you would love this British show, and sometimes it's just way too British, but then other times like, this is the funniest thing in the world, and everyone else that watches it is like, it's silly. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's no. But all right. Next one. I am going to butcher these, so I will need your help.
All right.
Karjalan Piraka?
Karjalan piirakka. Mm-hmm.
Panukaku?
Pannukakku.
Runeberg in Tortu?
Runebergin torttu.
Yes. And what you and I said those perfectly, so but what's your answer?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can't really say no to a good, properly made Finnish pancake. Okay. Karjalan piirakka is kind of like for regular, like just you want a snack on a regular day. If you want to make it a good day, you top it off with some pancakes.
Wow. Okay, so it's panukaku, right?
Pannukakku.
That's man, you guys really love pancakes.
Yeah, but I understand why you're confused. It's because they are much better than the American variety.
Okay. No, that's fine. My kid loves pancakes. I'm like, dude, they're a delivery mechanism for the syrup to get in your mouth. Like that.
I've had American style pancakes, and that's how it felt too, but that's not how the Finnish ones taste.
There's if I'm used to this one, then yours is like a message from the universe beaming light in my eyes, is what you're saying?
I mean, it's a cake. I mean, a cake needs to taste good. It's not just like a tortilla for syrup.
I need to look this up now, because I actually didn't even look at the picture. That was one of the few that did not have a picture. Oh, this looks like a yeah, that's not at all like ours. Those actually look good.
Yeah.
This is the first thing I'm putting on the...
And instead of syrup, jam. Strawberry jam. And then that's
the wrong one.
That's basically peak pancake.
I have it in the wrong tab. But go look it up. It looks delicious. Okay. Excellent answer. Loved it. What does an alternate universe Samsai do?
Well, I do have a tendency of thinking big, so I would probably be at least the emperor of Earth, and then we would all have a fantastic paradise that we would live in.
Wow.
So we can make our current reality that utopia if you just support my campaign for the emperor of Earth.
Well, I was going to say this is absolutely amazing because I have an alternate universe phone. I think this is the first time this ever happened on Fireside Fedi. It took 61 episodes where when I called an alternate universe Samsai, again, an alternate universe phone looks just like an original Star Trek tricorder because, I mean, I didn't buy it. I'm not that kind of nerd. It just showed up like this. And he said exactly the same thing. That's amazing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, great minds think alike, you know.
So he's just a little bit further along in his plans.
Maybe I made a mistake and I should have not learned Pascal.
As someone that took a class for Pascal in like high school, I was happy to have dropped that class. I think on the first program I got a 0. I was like, I can't brute force my way through this like I can with HTML. I'm out. There you go. He didn't take Pascal. So how do you get back on that track though?
I mean, at this point, it's probably a fairly long and windy road to get back to it. If I can borrow that interdimensional phone, maybe I can figure it out. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I wonder if that is the line of my like. That's where I wasn't nerd enough, as I couldn't get through Pascal. How many like true nerds who knew who 100th Rabbit was? I didn't have a clue who that was. But like, I wonder if that's because I didn't take the Pascal path. I ended up on this side. All right. Oh, here's a tough one. Gaming or Linux?
That's a tough one. I think for the sake of my sanity, I would have to just drop gaming, go full Linux, and then I would just become a book nerd. I think I could live with that.
No, I remember when I first got onto Linux, 2007, 2008, and I had gotten to the point where I installed Linux, and my one friend said to me, "But you won't be able to game." I was like, at this point, I don't care. I'm done. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I've actually given up gaming for Linux. I'd do it again. My kids won't. They would kill me. But, all right. As usual, the last question will be sent telepathically. Take your time, think about it, and let me know when you have an answer. Ready?
Yep.
Here it comes. There's the question, and I need to throw this out there. A little bit of a heads up to folks. Samsai is so telepathic, he already knew the question before he said this during the pre-shows. He already knew this question somehow. I can't imagine how he knew it. So he's been thinking about it. So Samsai, let us know the very beautiful answer you came up with to that very.
So the I think the premise of your question is kind of based on a misunderstanding because Finland is not part of Scandinavia. It's actually part of the Nordic. So, out of the Scandinavian countries, Norway much better than Sweden.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's whew, calling you out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. You also had heads up of that because I think I've confused your country quite a few times on your stream. So that's
Yeah.
just a habit of question. Yeah. That was an easy question, I guess. Oh, God. Congratulations. You got every answer either correct or incorrect. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to give you your lifetime supply of moss. I
Oh.
just checked the fine print of the Moss monthly subscription, and Moss has a strict no overgrowing policy. Turns
Mm.
out it only lives forever if it stays exactly where it's planted. So if I shipped you a whole forest in a box, the moss would get homesick, start a rebellion, and turn your living room into a swampy jungle. And honestly, my insurance doesn't cover accidental rainforest creation.
It's understandable. Good thing is I live next to a forest, so I can get moss from there. I was just hoping that
I'm
it would be like a door-to-door delivery,
Yeah, you wouldn't have
for
to go. You
convenience.
don't want to go outside anyway.
Yeah. Well, I commute by bike, I go outside.
But it's easier if it was brought to you,
I just love convenience.
right?
Door-to-door delivery of moss, that would be the pinnacle of my life.
Just someone mail this man some moss.
I will take your donations of moss. The government can't stop you from sending me moss.
There's going to be 1,000 years from now when people are finding the rubble and they're like, this is a man that had too much moss. He covered the world in
Could
moss.
be
He loves moss. But
moss.
thank you, Samsai. This has been hilarious. Thank you. It's been nice to really get to know you. Uh,
Mhm.
Thank you for streaming on Owncast. Thank you for coming on the chat. Thank you for always being so hilarious for my kind of humor, at least.
I hope the audience also appreciates it.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone out there on the Fediverse. Again, doing these things like Samsai has people that he's built a community on, right? Like we become friends, we talk, we do it just for fun. Like all the people that are out there are why this is special, why this is amazing, and why it's going to work. So thank you all just for being a part of it. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Have a great one. Bye.
Yep.